I sit down and I look ahead of me and there's Lemmy sitting across the table. I'm like, whoa! Damn! And does he look great? I mean, he looks like you think he's gonna look like there's the Lem. And I didn't know what to say. I was like, and he kind of, didn't say anything. The eyebrow goes up. He kind of goes like, and he looks down at a blank sheet of paper that was on the table between us, and he pulls it towards him. He pulls out a pen. I'm very impressed. He has a pen. He writes something down, turns it around, and shoves it back to me. And I look down and read it, and it says, I quote, "What am I doing here?" We didn't take the paper as a souvenir, so I just let it sit there. And at one point, before we went on stage, a bottle of wine made its presence known in this green room area, and Lemmy took it for his very own, and was able to make all the liquid inside the bottle disappear down his neck. Like, it was like, wow, we used a straw? That was amazing. And so now it's like, 10:55 in the morning, and we go onto the stage in front of a bunch of people. There are all these tables set up. It's me, Jelly Bean Benitez, Hank Ballard, the great R&B songwriter, me, Lemmy, Leonard Cohen, a moderator, and we start getting questions. And a question is asked of Leonard Cohen, and before he even answered it, he was such a gentleman. He goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the New Music Seminar." And he said it so beautifully, everyone was like, hugging. I mean, it was just amazing. And then he answers some question, and whatever it was, and it was just, the guy's amazing. And then a question was asked at Diamanda Galas, who's like this hyper intellect. And so someone has some question, and her answer goes from the time travel, Ornette Coleman, bing, ding, 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 and the audience is like realizes the answer is like 90 miles above their intellectual pay grade. They're like, "Sure looks pretty." And I know what the hell she was talking about, and she finally lands, and everyone kind of went, but thanks. What was I don't know, man. Just pretend like you're like you know, you're like, yeah, of course, Diamanda, right in my wheelhouse. Anyway, she's just, and Lenny looks at her with this kind of frustrated expression, pulls his mic towards him and leans into it and goes like, "What a bunch of crap! I like rock and roll!" And the whole place goes completely nuts. Like, yeah! Because there's one thing they can agree on. They don't know what Diamanda was saying, but when Lenny says, "I like rock and roll," it's like, "Well, I do too!" And so the place woke up. And then a question after a while comes to me, and I forget what the question was, and my answer, I always tie too long a tail onto any kite. And so, and you see the audience, the collective look is, well, there's 190 seconds I'm never getting back. And no one said anything. They're like, uh-huh. Lenny leans into his microphone, "What a bunch of bull." Yeah! I feel my face burning. My ears are stinging. A lump is rising in my throat. I've not said a word to this guy yet, and he's like just burned me, wrote me a letter, and so the thing was over. And I think all that anyone remembers that day was the look of hostility on Diamanda Galas's face as she looked at Lemmy, who just looked back at her with and that everyone loved Lemmy. Like, he likes rock and roll, and what everyone said was a bunch of bull, and he was probably right. And so, years later, I started running into Lemmy here and there as I started doing more and more shows all around the world, because Motorhead never stopped touring. And so I run into Lemmy, and we started talking. And I found out that Lemmy's a really sweet guy, huge sense of humor, and very, very smart. And he would always make me laugh. He'd always say something. And if I was on a good day, I could kind of make him laugh, which would make my day if I could get a laugh out of Lemmy. And in the early 2000s, my bandmates and I, we were in some microscopic part of Scandinavia, I forget which country, and we're going to one of the many summer festivals there. Like, we're going to play a festival in the crevice of a fjord near Hugadaga. It's like way in the middle of nowhere, but it's a gig and we're happy for it. Like, there'll be like 4 lumberjacks in attendance. And we're on an airplane the size of your living room. Like this, this one of those small planes, like when it hits a cloud and it drops like 10 feet, like your guts slam into your shoes and everything is terrifying. And so we're on in this small plane and we can't leave because there's late passengers. And it's like a thermos. It's so hot. It's so oppressive. And the pilot radios us. He says, hey, I'm sorry, folks. I can't turn on the air conditioning. It's against the law. The front door's open. There's some breeze. He's lying. There's no breeze. And I'm sorry, we have some late passengers. As soon as they board, we're going to shut the plane up. We're going to fly. We're going to cool the plane off. We're going to serve you drinks, get you to your destination. So sorry. Please be patient. Which is not that great when you're sitting sweating through your clothes. And I'm sitting on the right side of the plane, and I look out towards my left through the window, and through people's heads, I can see a vehicle pulling up to the plane. I go, the late passengers, who I now hate. I hate them because they're late, and I'm now sweating, through my pants. And we're all sitting there miserable. And I feel the plane dip as humans are getting up the ladder. At that moment, I smell the most offensive melange, a potpourri of offensive odors, all melding into this cornucopia of offensive, nostril-offending stench. I smelled tobacco, vintage perspiration, and leather. I'm like, what could that be? Motorhead has boarded the plane. So Motorhead clambers aboard, and you see people, everyone on the plane, like, yeah! So into it, like 80-year-old women, like, yeah! And so Lemmy leads the charge, and he's coming down the aisle, and he sees the empty seat next to me. Hello, Henry! Mind if I sit down? I'm like, are you kidding? Hurry! And so he sits down, the whole band and crew sits down, and we buckle up, and the plane takes off, and the plane cools down, and Lemmy and I are talking. I'm beating him up with questions about picture sleeves of Hawkwind, because I'm one of those collector boys. He's like, why do you want to know about the Portuguese picture sleeve for Silver Machine? Because the paper stock is very thin. I want to know if you had any say in that whatsoever. And he's like, you're one of those guys. I'm like, am I ever? Anyway, as promised, the drinks are served, and the man is coming up the tiny aisle with a drink cart that big. So he's coming up the aisle, and he's serving little drinks to people in the fetal position on this microscopic plane. And he comes up to Lemmy and I, and he leans past Lemmy and looks at me and goes, sir, may I get you a drink? I said, sure. How about a Diet Coke? I don't need the can, just a glass, and that'll be fine. So he pours me a Diet Coke, and I put it down, waiting for Lemmy to get his drink so we can clink our plastic cups together. And so Lemmy looks at the man and says, what do you got? And then bottle by bottle, the man displays what hard alcohol he has. None of the bottles meet with Lemmy's approval. No! 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 And the guy said, well, I'm out of bottles. And then he starts issuing directives. Glass! Ice! Coke! Full can! Punk! Move! And the guy moves on, and he looks across the aisle to his left to, I think, Phil, the guitar player. He goes, the bottle! And out of the brown leather bag comes a labelless bottle of brown alcohol. Handed to Lemmy, who fixes his drink, hands the bottle back. We clink our we clack our plastic cups together and take a drink. And he looks at me and says, I will not be trammeled by a mere airline. I don't know how much you groove on the English language. Trammeled is a very little used word. It means to ensnare or to entrap. Maybe Shakespeare used it, maybe Chaucer grooved on it, but it's one of the last words in the world you expect to come out of the mouth of Lemmy. And the fact that he used it in a sense has flowed out of his mouth like, why I say trembled all the time. And I thought I was a fan of Lemmy before the whole trembled thing. After he said trembled, I wanted to move in with him. I was like, what? He said trembled? Damn! It was huge for me. And I was like, trembled? Huh? Never mind. And so I started learning more about Lemmy. He's a smart guy. And we kind of became pals. I'd see him so often. And he was very, very nice to me. He knew I was a fan of his. And whenever I had a chance, I'd always bring him a Hawkwind or a Motorhead record for him to sign. And he'd always sign it with a mild insult. I gave him my Motorhead 12-inch of, I think, Ace of Spades, where they're all in Santa Claus outfits. And I said, would you sign this? He goes, yeah. And he signs it, and I think it says something like, it's probably too loud for you, Lemmy. I'm like, I rolled this past my band members who were wildly enthusiastic. I said, there's a song called Thirsty and Miserable. There's nobody on the planet who should be singing it but Lemmy. And they can hear him doing it. They're like, oh yeah, right, the chorus, that raspy voice, perfect, he's born to sing it. So I kind of know some people around Lemmy, so I reach out to Lemmy's people. I go, hey, it's Henry, kind of sort of a friend of the Lem. Here's what we're doing. I can messenger over today to your office a DVD, information, the song, lyrics. Can Lemmy get involved? And he said, like, messenger over everything. We'll run it by Lemmy, and we'll get back to you tomorrow. How's that sound? I went, wow, thank you. And the next day, this person, a woman who works at Lemmy's management, calls back and says, Lemmy's in. It's Thursday. How about Saturday at noon? Will you guys be in the studio? I said, all day. She said, great. Here's his address. He'll be waiting for you at noon at his apartment. I said, done. So on that Saturday, I drive to Lemmy's place, and I find out he was like only like 4 traffic lights from me. I never knew he was a neighbor. So I drive up the street to this very modest apartment building, like, you know, multiple levels, like with stairways. Looks like a hotel. It's an outside door, and the door opens, and it's Lemmy. I'm like, damn, Lemmy, good to see you again, my friend. Hello, Henry. And we get in my car, we're driving to the studio, and I said, Lemmy, I gotta ask you something, man. And this is a kooky question, but why was it so easy to get you to say yes to being on this record? I mean, we are extracting molars, trying to get people to be on a really kick-ass record for a real cause that really needs to be addressed. And it's like, it's impossible. But you said yes, like, wow, if only anyone was as easy as you were to get on board. And he looked at me and he said, you're my friend. You said you needed my help. That's Lemmy. And so we get the core of the man, I promise you. And so we're rolling to the studio. It's not very far away. Before I left to pick up the Lem, I had instructed Dark Mike. His name is Mike, our old road manager, but when he's punching people out, we call him Dark Mike. He's able to go there really quick, like, Mike's friendly. Oh no, it's Dark Mike, run! Anyway, I instructed Dark Mike. I said, go to a liquor store. Don't rob it! Go to a liquor store. I need a laundry bag of ice. I need a cold 6-pack of Coca-Cola. And I need that huge Led Zeppelin-sized bottle of Jack Daniels. It's like, you know, a meter on each side. It comes with 4 straws. It's like, you know, for dinner time in Kentucky. So I said, get the big bottle because we're going to give it to him as a thank you. And whenever I would issue a directive to Mike, he would go, and he would always go and do it. And so I guess everything is waiting. And we walk into the studio, and everyone knew Lemmy was showing up on this Saturday. So bandmates have brought their wives, their girlfriends. You know, people are hanging out because they all want to meet Lemmy. Why wouldn't you? And so we walk in, and everyone stands up. You know, officer on deck, and everyone's like getting their hand all dry, ready to shake the hand. Lemmy walks in like Eisenhower walking onto the deck of a destroyer, and he goes like, and just kind of acknowledges everyone, and walks in and makes a left. I don't know how he knew there was a bucket of ice and a massive bottle of Jack Daniels. He has like a booze GPS. And without saying a word to any of us, he makes a drink, drinks some of it, normalizes, goes, I'm Lemmy, and meets everyone in the room. I think he's just a total gentleman. So we sit down and we listen to the track, and I said, okay, here's my guide vocal. You got your lyric sheet. Are you ready? He went, yeah. I went, really? He said, yeah. I said, okay. We put him in the vocal booth, and he does this incredible vocal. I mean, he rips it. It's like it was his song. We're standing there looking at each other like, just like you heard it in your head, right? They're like, yeah, but better. And I don't know how far I can push the Lem. So I go back down to Lemmy. Would you mind doing a second take, just, you know, so we can have it? Sure! Does a second take that crushes it equally as well. I said, okay, almost done, Lemmy. How about some promo photos so we can flog this shamelessly because we're trying to raise as much money as we can to get these kids out of prison? Sure! And many of you have seen Lemmy in a photograph. He can't help it. He sees a camera. I wanted a couple of photos without that, you know, for good Christian families who hate gay people. Anyway, we have a few other, like, he's like, I'm like, okay. We'll just pixelate it out or something. Anyway, we do the photos, and I said, well, I'll get you back to your pad. And we gave him the big bottle of Jack Daniels, and we go back in my car, and we drive back to his apartment. We pull into the parking lot, and I figure, well, I'll just drop him off, and I'll get back to the studio because I have a lot of work to do. And he says, come in! I'm not going to say no. I check out the Lem's pad. And so I go, fine. And so he opens the door, and there's stuff in there about up to here. He's not a hoarder. There's not like 80 empty yogurt containers. There's like stacks of videotapes and books and clothes. There's just stuff. It's like a life in an apartment this big. And there's trails of clear ancient carpet that kind of like make snake lines through the apartment. Like, stay on the trail. I said, okay. I'm going through this trail following the Lem, and I look off to my left and I see his bedroom. And his bed is so sad. Half the bed is books, and the other half is the outline, the indentation of an adult sleeping in the semi-fetal position. I was like, oh, that's so lonely. Oh man, that's how my bed looks too. And so we go behind this like low living room type table with there's a couch, and on the table are multiple remotes. There's a TV ahead of us. It's like the command center. It's like the bridge of the Enterprise. It's where it all happens. And we sit down on the couch, and there's notepads, pens, books, and remotes. So I said, we are in the center of the Lem universe. He goes, yeah, I guess. And on either side are bottles of Jack Daniels in various states of completion. And I said, you lost it? You didn't just come home from tour, unpack your luggage, and go to the laundromat like everyone else does? No! I said, and your apartment swallowed up your suitcase for 5 years? I went, yeah! And he said, my apartment is like, and he couldn't finish the sentence. Dot, 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 it's hanging in the air. And I want to finish it for him. I said, it's like the sea. He went, yes! What do you mean? I said, the sea takes away and it gives back again. And he's like, yeah! And then he said, what's your gaff like? And I said, meticulously clean, everything in alphabetical order. And he kind of looked at me, had a one eye, and went, I thought so! Mild insult, like, yeah, ow. And so he said, you want to hear some music? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And we walk over to this boom box, and sitting on the floor, and he pulls out a CDR, not a real CD, it's a CDR, some band, a punk rock band from, I think, Scotland, all girls, all females, and he said, listen to this, and he puts on the CDR, and some bunch of youths sent him a record, he's playing it, I'm so impressed. And the music is really good, and the music is coming through this boombox, and as soon as the music starts, Lemmy goes into air bass. He's like, going off. And I'm like, whoa, it's like not even there anymore. He's just letting loose. And like halfway through the song, I'm like, this is pretty good. Pretty good. I'm 40-something years old. And the song comes to an end, and he kind of stops for a second, and the next song starts, and he starts again, and I start again. And for like 9 minutes, we're just like, just going off. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've been here before, in the 1800s. And the music came to an end, we kind of recovered and stopped listening to music. And I said, Lemmy, that was great. And I'm moving towards the door, insinuating, I've got to go, because I have like 7 hours of comping of tracks to do on this thing, because I'm producing the record. I've got like 800 hours of work with no time to do it. So I'm moving towards the door, and Lemmy says, let's look at a book! And I realize Lemmy doesn't want me to leave, that Lemmy's a little lonely. And I'm like, okay, he's not too cool to let that be known. And I got a slight lump in my throat, because I don't want to leave him. So I went, let's look at the book. And he pulls out this amazing, like this thick tome with all these colored plates, and it's a study of totalitarian dictator artwork. Like, what are the similarities in paintings of like of Mao, of Stalin. They're all like looking to the east and they're doing something like, and all the people around them are looking up submissively, and all the men and women look like they all want to have sex with them. They're all like, you're the kimchiest dictator in the world. I don't care if you're going to starve and kill 21 million of us, Joe Stalin. You're the best. And it's a fascinating study of power and manipulation. Because all these people, they're just like amazingly healthy, and everyone around them is healthy, and this is the way to go. And so many of these people would be just horribly slaughtered. And I'm like, wow, this is deep. Lemmy's a deep guy who reads his ass off. Like, this is a really interesting book, Lemmy, truly. You can borrow it. I'll need it back, though. I'm like, you got it! Because it'll give me another excuse to come back and visit Lemmy, which is no problem. So I said, well, I will take very good care of it. I am very hard-pressed to loan books to people because they rarely know how to handle them and they always lose them. But sir, I will not fail you. I'm going to look at this and I'm going to find a copy of my own, which I did. It cost me an arm and a leg. And so I got my book. You know, who thinks that like Lemmy's going to loan you a book? Well, he said traveled, so it's not that far off to think. And so I'm moving towards the door. I'm like moving. Let's look at another book. I'm like, sure. And he pulls out another book about Russians going into Central Asia during World War II. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. You can have that one. I'm like, damn, it's the Book of the Month Club with Lemmy. I said, Lemmy, I have to go. And his shoulders fell, and his face fell, and he had the look of a 9-year-old boy who just got told that the trip to Disneyland has been canceled permanently. He's just like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry! I almost burst into tears. I didn't want to leave him. I wanted to go, oh, Lemmy, come with me, come back to the studio, we'll have soup. I gotta do all this work. Yeah, I know. But you can tell the subtext was, everyone leaves. And I'm back with my table and my remotes and my notepad. Oh, I let the Lem down, and it really hurt me to leave. Because I dig the guy, It's like getting my caramel down in the mouth. I come like back into the studio, and everyone else is pumped. Man, you met Lemmy, it's so cool. He flipped me off in a photo. I said, like he's real. He's a real guy. He's lonely. I left him. I'm so sad. And the rest of the day, I'm like working like let's make the record. Anyway, I saw Lemmy for the last time a few months ago. I was in Hartford, Connecticut on Sunday before the Monday show. And I'm on my own in the lounge of the hotel, punk rock in my earplugs, writing something in my notebook with my cup of coffee. And a young man leans down into my view and waves, like, stop doing what you're doing. And I unplug my earplugs thinking, this better be good, youngster. And this guy goes, hi, my name is Ian. I look after Lemmy. I was like, oh, is Motorhead in this hotel? He said, we are. I said, damn, tell Lemmy I'm here. He said, Lemmy knows. I said, I want to talk to you. He's like, he wants to talk to you too. But he's not doing great. And he's sleeping. And as you know, he slept 45 minutes since 1975. So every time we can get the big guy to get some sleep, we don't try and wake him. So how about this? Give me your cell phone number, and tomorrow when we take off for the show, he'll be on the bus around noon. How about I text you, and you can come down and talk to Lemmy? I said, done. And so the next day around noon, I get a text from Ian. He goes, hey, we're out front, come on down. So I run down to the tour bus, and I get let in, and I encounter Mickey D, Motorhead's mighty drummer, wonderful guy, and Phil, the guitar player. He's just one of the coolest people you'll ever meet. And it's good to see these guys again, because I bounced around with them all over the world for years. And I said, hey, good to see you guys. Where's the band? They said, he's in the back lounge. He's waiting for you. So I go to the back lounge, and there's Lemmy sitting alone. And I'm not trying to be mean, but Lemmy looked really bad. I mean, he looked really frail. He was very, very skinny. Like, his eyes were like 2/3 of his head. I'm like, whoa. And I go, Lemmy, it's good to see you again, my old friend. And he says, good to see you too. And his voice is barely above a whisper. I'm like, wow, this doesn't look good. I said, Lemmy, your road manager very kindly gave me a copy of your new album, Bad Magic. It's amazing, and I wasn't blowing the proverbial smoke. It is awesome. And the music is bone-crushing, the lyrics are smart and funny. Like, he left on a high note. The last Motorhead record is so worth getting. So I said, another great one, Lem. And he went, thanks. And so he said, so, you're going to sing with us on stage tonight? I'm like, no, I have a show tonight down the street. Oh, so you're not coming to the show? I'm like, like, no, I have a show, Mark Twain Museum. Like, oh, I thought you were coming to the show. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And so Mickey D and Phil come back, and it's the four of us talking. So I said, all right, so you got this show tonight. It's going to be great. What's next? And they said, we're going to do this heavy metal cruise where like a couple of thousand people get on a ship. They leave the shore, so they are a sovereign nation, which means they can drink and screw as much as they want. And bands play. Like Anthrax, Motorhead, and maybe someone else. And over like a 4-day period, Motorhead's going to do 3 shows. Big payday, lots of booze, and lots of people going, yay! And, vomiting over the side. And I'm looking at Lemmy thinking, what's this going to be like for Lemmy? A lot of people, a lot of noise, a lot of people wanting to meet him and poke him and do photos and giving him drinks. And just, I want him to go home. I want to say, Lemmy, go home, man. Your girlfriend is a professional chef. She is. Like, let her cook. Like, sit still. Sleep 8 hours. Like, for 3 days. Try that. Like, go for walks. Like, get better, man. But Lemmy is Lemmy, and you're not going to tell Lemmy how to do anything. He's not telling you how to live your life. You're not going to tell him how to live his. So all I can say was, man, I'd be there if I could. Have a great show tonight. Have a great heavy metal cruise. I can't wait to run into you guys again. I looked at Lemmy right in the face. I go, Lemmy, you are one of my favorite people, man. It's always good to see you again. He's like, it's very good to see you, my friend. Shook hands, and that's the last time I ever saw Lemmy. And you love the guy. I love the guy. I don't even know what love is. I've never had quite a real understanding of it, but if I understand it the way I understand it, which I guess is the way I understand it, I can't help but love the guy unconditionally. And he passed away, as you know, and he has so many fans all over the world. There's no way he did not know that he was respected and adored by millions of people from here to where any country that has electricity, there's Motorhead fans and Hawkwind fans. And there's not one street. It is amazing. Cars drive by. Lemmy! Wants me. Hey! He looks like Lemmy. He ain't nobody else. And his funeral, which was at Forest Lawn Cemetery, which overlooks Warner Brothers. It's a huge cemetery in Los Angeles. That's where he was put to rest a couple of Saturdays ago. And it was broadcast worldwide. Why? Because people all over the world just want to be able to go like, I'm with you, man. I can see it. And there's got to be, like every band in the world just went like, oh, this is a day of, we're going to remember this guy, because man, there's nothing ever like that guy's ever coming through again. They broke the mold on that guy. And we are the lucky recipients of like all those shows, all the brain damage and organ liquefying it did to us. And we're very lucky to have had the guy for 70 years. And he's a miracle! 70 years, of at least 50 of them. He must have inhaled 900 million cubic miles of tobacco smoke, snorted like 900 miles of sulfate and crystal methamphetamine speed. How many 100,000 gallons of beer and hard alcohol? How many newspaper sheets of acid? And whatever else, and a lifetime of 70 years and maybe 40 hours of sleep. And the fact that he got 6 years of mileage out of that carcass, living at the rate of speed that he was, what a constitution. Would have liked to have met the parents. Like, my God. It's not anything to be too sad about, and that he lived exactly how he wanted. If we could magically wake him up and go, Lemmy, you got 70 years on the Lem plan. Let's roll you back to age 15 and let you do it all over again. Would you change anything? Yeah! What would you do? I would double up on everything. So, in his own way, he's a lesson. I mean, I don't want to do all that stuff, because no one's making me. But he was his own person, and there's a lot of bravery in that, a lot you can take away from the life of the Lem. The documentary is worth watching, the records are worth listening to. He was a hell of a guy. He also, he was fascinating in interviews. I interviewed him once for a metal magazine, and he said to me that something that was so mind-blowing was, he said, I remember before there was rock and roll. I was like, hold on, just tell me everything. He said, well, there was a time when all you had was your mother's Rosemary Clooney 78s. There was no rock and roll. He said, and one day we heard Chuck Berry and Buddy Holly and all of that. He said, we heard Elvis and we never turned back. All of a sudden we were turned on. And it reminded me of when I heard Johnny Rotten and Joe Strummer and all these people, when I was turned on. And then he said, yeah, I used to go see the Beatles play the Cavern Club. I'm like, shut your mouth. Really? Oh yeah, they were great. I'm like, yo, I bet they were. He used to roadie for Hendrix, and those stories were really cool. Anyway, he's one of our friends, you know, Lemmy. Maybe you never met him, but he is your friend anyway. And that's one of the great things about music. It just goes right in, and like Ozzy, he's your friend. You might not ever meet him, but trust me, he's your friend. And if you did meet him, he'd be like, oh, my name is Ozzy. Like, he doesn't know that you know who he is. He thinks himself to his own fans. Hi, my name is Ozzy, man.